You're watching Monday's Not Just Crew.
Welcome to Monday's Not Just Crew. It's really nice to be back in the studio after a long absence. But listen, we're going to go straight into this. So many people have been talking about writing their memoirs, writing family history, and even writing novels. And it seems to be a thing that crew seem to be doing nowadays. Now, one person who I knows about it so much, who literally started writing off the hoof, got an idea while she was in crew rest, and now has got about a fair few novels under her belt, and is also writer of the Red Eye podcast, which is also presented by Ali Murphy, both of which are regular contributors to Not Just Crew. So I'm going to bring in the one and only Kaylie K. Here we go, Kaylie. Kaylie, so lovely to see you again, and thank you for joining us and literally writing tonight's episode. You're such an enthusiastic writer who does put your own writing down a bit too much, because we all think you're excellent here, and so we've done many podcasts with you before. But you had this idea that you wanted to encourage anyone who's got an idea in their head to actually produce their own book, whether for publication to the mass audience or even just get it down for themselves. So so what put you why did you want to do this anyway? Why do you want to encourage others to write?
I meet people, same as you, all the time. So, and when the subject of the books come out, or the fact that I write, the amount of people are like, oh, I've got an idea, or I've written a whole manuscript that's been under my bed for however long, or I'd like to write a memoir of my grandparents or anything like that. And I just want to shake them and say, just do it. Just get on and like anybody can do it. It's easy for me to say it's so simple, because everything's simple when you know how to do it, right? And of course, the first time I did it, I'm like, oh, but it is actually very simple when you just get a little bit of solid advice along the way, and anyone can do it. And you don't have to do it to make loads of money. The chances are, doesn't matter how good a writer you are, you're not going to get a Netflix series or a movie. Hey, that's the dream, and like hang on to that dream. But
yeah, you never know.
But if you want to write a story, you want to write a book, just get on and do it, because honestly, it's the most rewarding thing in the world if that's in you to want to do that.
Yeah, of course. So just for any new viewers, because say Not Just Crews picking up many new members each week, just give us a quick brief background. Obviously, you've been cabin crew for many years.
I'm not giving my age away.
Exactly. So to bring people up to date, you're the author or co-publisher, I suppose, of the Red Eye podcast with Ali Murphy. You've been doing that that must be coming up to a year and a half now.
Yeah, actually, well, a year and a quarter, but we've been working on it, for a solid year and a half now. So that's my main focus now. I don't have much time for novels anymore, but
talking of novels, how many have you actually got under your belt now?
6, and I have started a new one.
Yeah,
but
brilliant.
It was in like this rare day that I had spare. I was like, hey, I'm going to start a new novel because I really miss it. But trying to find another rare spare day since then. So I'm one chapter down, but it doesn't matter.
Of course. Amazing. And you're always after ideas for the Red Eye podcast or stories?
I think I'm a little bit annoying down route when I get my voice recorder out on my phone and stick it on the table, and everyone gets a bit...
too right. Now you're playing with alcohol at Red Parties. Okay.
Yeah.
But I know people probably want to contact you. We'll put the information down in the description anyway, but they can find you on at Kaylie K Writes. Is that on all your social media?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay.
Writes. Right. Okay. Well, let's go through to your work of brilliance. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in exactly where. So what we'll do, we'll go through this together. I'll take both of us out so I can enlarge the image slightly. And also, it means I can put on my reading glasses. Kaylie, I'm assuming you can still hear me?
Yeah, I'm going to pop it on my computer so I can remember what I wrote, because it was a few months ago.
Brilliant. Okay, so it's a brief guide to self-publishing by the one and only Kaylie Kay, you've written a brief introduction, and what we'll do, I'll leave a link. So if anyone wants a copy of this, they can email in as a Not Just Crew, and we'll be more than happy to send you a copy. Now, on here, step 1, go for it.
Write the story. That's it. Like, write the story. You've got the idea, even if you don't know exactly what's going to happen. But I think with me, I just knew I wanted to write a book based on a cabin crew member. And then I was like, well, and what's her dilemma? You've got to have there's got to be a dilemma or something. So some people write and their pants, as they call them. So they're writing by the seat of their pants. They just have a dilemma, a main character, and they just see where it goes. Other people want to plot it out. I've done that with a couple of mine. I've got an old roll of wallpaper and I've just pinned it to a wall somewhere and written a timeline and sort of started putting, and then characters, and so I've done that as well. There's 2 ways of doing it depending how complicated your
so with this first one, this step 1, would this just be a rough draft, almost like a storyboard of what you want to get across?
Depends how you are. I don't like doing a whole second draft, right? I would rather write that chapter and then put it down, and then the next time I open my laptop, I go back to that chapter and I rewrite that chapter, and then I'm kind of in the right headspace to start the next one. And that way my second drafts don't take very long. Other people prefer to just write it and not worry too much about it and then go back and rewrite it all again. But I think for me, I'd feel really disillusioned if I had to go back and write the whole novel again.
No,
once I get to the end, I don't want it to take too long to get it.
No, I've always been very impressed at the speeds you knock these out, and but that's what I mean. They're not done quickly. You seem to have the complete novel already in your mind, and it's just a case of transferring it through your mind onto
so I have planned
paper.
out. I have planned out the next one. It's just that life just gets so crazy these days. I don't have the time with trying to write 4,000 words a week for the podcast as well. But one day, but I was 6 months. I'd have a new novel ready.
Brilliantly.
Publish,
okay. All right. Well, look, let's bring us both in again. Right. So part 2, the rewrite your story.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Going back to, I've just noticed that I put in there, read in the genre that you're writing in.
Yeah.
That is. Quite often people say, did you do a creative writing course? No, never. I got A's in English GCSE, never wrote anything more than an email ever since. But I knew that I liked words, and I liked the way if you just change a sentence around, it could. But I read a lot, and I guess therefore, if you read a lot, you kind of know that when you read a novel, how the arc should go, or if you like thrillers, that you have to just keep throwing curveballs at your main character. Read in the genre that you're going to write in, so you know what readers expect when they. And if you're hoping to do well and go to a traditional publisher, they're very clear about you have to write in a certain way for your genres. You have a lot more creative freedom if you're going to self-publish. So step 2, the rewrite your story. That's what we're talking about then. You go put it down. I read a blog once that said put it down for a few weeks, put the whole draft down for a few weeks, and then read it with fresh eyes as if you're reading. And read it in one sitting if you possibly can, just so that you can pick out any plot holes, any like timeline stuff that's out. Just try and read it in one, and then go back. Then you can go back and change everything. I like to print it. So I've got a real thick manuscript and go through with red pen, and so then I can sit back down at my laptop with that and all the mistakes and whatever and rewrite my final draft second.
You got here that you edit ruthlessly. Are you a hard critic on yourself? Well, I know you are,
but but I know that when I'm reading, if there's too much fluff in there, I'm skipping over that whole paragraph, right? I don't want to read a whole paragraph that I don't need to read. I like the story, and I think that comes across in my writing, that it's story led. But that's just me. There's nothing wrong if you're a descriptive writer, because people that like descriptive texts will like your reading. There's no single one size fits all. You do what you want to do and what appeals to you. Because hey, if that's what you like reading, there'll be another 10,000 people out there that like reading that too.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Stick to what you don't try and fit a different mold, because I don't think that's possible. I don't think there's a technical way to learn to write.
Yeah, of course. Right. Shall I flip the page?
Yeah. Oh, no, hang on a second. Show,
Go
don't
back.
tell. That's really important. Show, don't tell.
Yeah.
Say something like, I think here I said, rather than saying Sarah was nervous, you can make that her hand trembled as she reached for the door handle.
Oh,
So
right.
rather
Yeah.
than saying she was nervous and using your advert, I see my English is not very, show, don't tell.
Don't mind.
Yeah. And edit ruthlessly. Yep. Step 3.
All right. Next one. Okay. Decide whether to publish traditionally or self-publish.
Okay, so you can be J.K. Rowling and you can send off to like however many she sent off before you get your and there's nothing to say you won't. If you're impatient like me and you've got a bit of imposter syndrome and you just want to write and publish it, just go straight out and do yourself and self-publish. But there is also, and I didn't cover it on there because I didn't even know about it until I was listening to a podcast the other day. There's also a new thing called hybrid publishing that's come out, and there's a few in the UK that do it. And be careful. So when you get to that stage, if you go online and you look for publishers, ignore the first 10 things on Google, because they're all sponsored and they're all vanity presses, and they're just gonna say, pay us £1,100, we'll edit it, design your cover, do this, that, and the other. But they're not massively qualified and they're not publishers. They're going to let you self-publish it at the end. They're going to tell you that they're going to tell you that your work is amazing, that it would make a great movie, and they'll probably make you cry like they did me when when my first book, I got that first email back saying we loved it, and I just handed over £1,200, and then they sent me my script back. It still had mistakes in it, and the cover was like shockingly bad. Avoid the vanity publishers. If you're not sure, just put their name into Google. Somebody on Reddit or somewhere will tell you they're a vanity publisher.
Yeah.
But
what was their what I mean, what do they get out of it? That is it, they just after your money?
Yeah, well, no, they do the job. It's just a business. They'll have a handful of people that are proofreaders. They'll have a handful of cover designers, but you can do all of that yourself, or you could do it better if you find the right people. People feel like they've got a publisher, but they haven't, because you're having to pay them, and actually they're just going to hand it back and you'll then self-publish it. Just be careful what you. So there is hybrid publishers now, and they will offer the services of a real good publisher. So they'll have real editors there that will work with you with your manuscript, work with you like a traditional publisher will. But you share the cost of that publishing. And I don't know if they I don't know much about hybrid. I literally only just heard about it, but that's there, and that would suit some people, but you'd have to really look into who those people are. But this is self-publishing. That's the only thing I really know a lot about. But traditional publishing, go for it. If you really want to just be patient and get a great query, that's the letter that you send that really, it's all online. This is just bullet points. You Google how to write a good query and just plow through the blogs and things that you can find and get I can't tell you how to do that because I'd be traditionally published.
Exactly. And what about using friends or family for proofreading? Is that a good idea or not such a good idea?
It depends, but if you've got someone you trust, I think you trust your wife to do a lot of stuff, don't you? If you told me that in the past, right? Yeah. You've got someone you trust that can look at it like line by line by line. I couldn't do it. My brain would be like going off somewhere and I'd miss something. Or what's really good that I find when I've written a chapter is I play it on read aloud.
Oh, right. Okay.
Generally brings out most of my errors. It wouldn't bring out my grammatical errors. And you're going to put your book out there. Well, you might put it out there to be watched by people who are really critical, right?
Of course.
I just pay a proofreader to do it for me. Just because I want to put it out with confidence. And my first book, I know that there's errors in there, and I don't want to have that cringe with the rest of them.
No, of course. Right, okay, so step 5, design your cover.
So what did I write in here? So my first 3 books, I went online and I just typed in pre-made book covers, and I found one I liked. I hooked up with the person who designed it. I think I paid $99, and I loved it. And then I used, so once I had that design, I went on, oh, hang on, I've also put on there, you could go to places like Fiverr or Upwork,
Yeah.
but the off the shelf ones tend to be a bit cheaper. But the problem I find with Upwork and Fiverr is unless you've got a really clear idea, they might not be on the same page as you. So sometimes there's a bit of backwards and forwards. Try and get an idea of what you want before you say, design me a book cover, because otherwise it's going to come back and you're not going to like it. Yeah, so I've done both. I've bought off the shelf, and now I have a designer that I like and kind of gets what I want. So I just go to him, $150 on Upwork. Yeah.
When you start writing, or say you've got an idea for a story, have you already got an idea in your head of how you'd like the cover to go? Because most people think, oh, it's not the most important thing, but I think it really is, because it sort of shows the finished product. And plus,
Yeah, I guess
it does draw. They say don't judge a book by its cover, but so many people do.
That's why my fourth book, Ditched, I believe, has done the best, because the cover was just spot on. And I knew I wanted it to look like the broken aircraft on a safety card.
Yeah.
And that's why it's done. The cover definitely has been. And my first book, it reminded me of a book that was really trending at the time. So that did quite well as well for the same. So it is important. Don't always have an idea right at the beginning, but
Yeah, I've got to add there that Ditch is available on audible.com published by NJC Publishing, if you want to go and have a listen to that. Right, okay, so you've got your cover design. Right, let's go like page 4. Publish.
Right. So we get a good proofreader design. You've skipped format your book and upload it. Right, I'm just going to cut.
Yes, I have. My apologies.
I'm going to go off track on that.
Okay.
So you've written your book. You've got your cover designed. Now you need to format it, because you need it in 3 different formats. I would say you need it formatted so it looks like a book that you're going to open, a physical book. You need it formatted to upload to Kindle, because if you're going to, like everyone, Kindle's the big, and you need it in the other, I forget what it is. It might be Mobi, but basically that will cover your iBooks and every other ebook reader out there.
Yeah.
So you can do this yourself. I wouldn't recommend it, because it's one of those things. So when you finish your Word document, make sure you save it in a PDF. That was a massive learning curve for me, because every time I tried to format it into a novel or anything, it would just knock my chapters out, and I was like, what is going on?
Oh, really?
And but if you save it as a PDF, that's like a photo then, isn't it?
Yeah.
So for your physical book, you need to upload a PDF so you can format it, make it look pretty, save it as a PDF. Nothing can go wrong. But make sure you've put your copyright page and everything. So that gets complicated.
Yeah.
I just send my manuscript off to my man I think it's in Pakistan. I have this great guy in Pakistan that does it all for me for about $80. And sends it back to me with the copyright page in it. I'll have to go back to ISBNs in a moment, everything. I'll give him all the details and he'll just send it back to me in all formats. Sometimes he makes a mistake, but make sure you check it when it comes back. And then you're ready to upload it. Yeah. You're ready to
absolutely.
Upload.
Absolutely. Right. So what we got next?
Publishing it.
Publishing.
Yeah. So you have 2 places, Amazon, Kindle Direct Publishing. Everyone has an Amazon login. So use your Amazon login to set up an Amazon KDP account. Once you're in there, you go to the new book page on your bookshelf and just follow the steps. You put in your title, you put in everything. It will give you your own ISBN, which you'll need to put on the inside.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, because that's everyone knows about.
Or you can buy ISBNs, and then you'd be able to sell that in different places. You can only sell books with that ISBN on Amazon. Then you would go in Amazon. Then you would upload your ebook format. So when you do your cover, it's all on there. You have to follow the steps. I'm conscious that we haven't got a lot of time, so you have to follow the steps. You have got your cover designed in paperback and ebook. So when you get to the paperback bit, you can put that into Amazon and you'll have the cover, and it will let you use your own cover, and then you can put your blurb on the back, and it will put your ISBN and your barcodes and everything. And then you'll put your ebook cover, and you'll upload both formats. It's not very, it's that, as long as everything's ready to go, it's quite easy to follow. But again, these were just top tips. You need to look into it and just look for keywords that are going to work so people find it, and work out how to get in the bestseller section by put it in a real niche category, and then you might be the bestseller in it.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah. Just a couple of other things. I mean, when you publish something, do you choose your own font and font size, or is there a standard?
Definitely. I would say so. You choose a book size. I think I've put that in there. The average book in the UK is 8.5 times 5.5 inches.
Yeah.
US is 9x6, but I've done my last 3 in 9x6 because I thought they deserve to be a bit like, because of the cover. So it's up to you. You're self-publishing. It doesn't. People don't really care. Traditional publishers are very traditional, and they like, but this is your book. Like, you do whatever you like with it. But going back to the ebook, so I don't want to overload with information for Kindle, because you. But there's another platform I use, which is called Draft2Digital. You can put your manuscript in there and it will format it for you. So if you don't want to go through all those other steps I've said, try that first. It will format it all for you. It will make the most beautiful crafted book for you. And it's super easy. It's much easier than going through Amazon. But you need to do your Kindle really through Amazon. It just works better for the deals that they offer you and stuff. But for your first stop, try Draft2Digital, all one word. And it's much simpler for a first place to start to upload it.
No, brilliant. And the main thing is to say, I mean, if anyone's got any questions, just pop them in the questions below. I'm sure I'm sure you'll be happy to answer them, as I say, because do you know what? I've always thought it's so nice that you really want to encourage other people to write.
I wrote my nan's memoirs, and she's recently passed away. And my uncle said the other day, Kaylie, if you hadn't done that, we'd have lost all of those. And there was details about when they'd come from Italy and where the great grandparents are buried in Saviano and stuff that would have gone with her. So if you've got elderly relatives, just make the voice recordings for now, even if you haven't got time to write the memoirs. But it's very easy then to transcript them.
No, I agree. And sadly, I didn't have the chance. I wanted to, and I never got around to interviewing any members of my family. I've still got an auntie that I'm still keen to do. But what I found is they're not always that keen. They can't believe somebody's taking such an interest in their story. But I mean, the UK has changed so much over the last.
Oh, my nan loved it because she grew up in the war and everything. Yeah. She loved telling me her story. She could talk forever about her stories. So, but whatever you want to write a book about, anything. If your kids want to write a book, that's another thing. My kids wrote 6 stories about our dog traveling the world. And then I taught myself how to illustrate. Again, happy to talk anyone through that. I taught myself to use Photoshop, but now with AI and stuff, it's so easy to do. And we self-published 6 books that then my son went and sold at craft fairs for 7 years.
And on the crew market, of course.
Absolutely, So it's a great thing to do with your kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as I previously said, what we'll do, we're I'll in the description, I'll leave an email address so they can email us in, and if they want a copy of this, I'll be more than happy to send it to them. Well, look, Kaylie, thank you. I mean, listen, thank you so much for taking the actual time out to do this, because so many times I've been on board and we have sort of discussed your books, but some people say, this I've got an idea for a book I would love to write, but so many people they just don't write it. But you imagine how many books
don't finish it. They don't finish it, or they don't think it's good enough. Well, I still don't think mine's good enough, but it doesn't mean I don't love writing and don't love the feeling of getting my book in my hand when I finished it.
I mean, that feeling must have been amazing as well. I remember your book launch in Southampton, and
any excuse for a party,
An excuse for a party, absolutely. All right, Kaylie, thank you so much, and we'll see you again on Not Just Crew soon. And fantastic, it's been a wonderful contributor. All right, Kaylie, thank you very much. Five, four, three, two, one.